Hey folks, welcome back to Jerome Bee Farm and Homestead. So again, we're shooting out here in the apartment. It's supposed to get, well, it is above freezing today. It's 39 degrees right now. It's supposed to get up to 50 and tomorrow 60. So there may be a little bit of bee flight today. Tomorrow for sure they'll be doing cleansing flights. So I'm going to get out there tomorrow and do some pop the top inspections, and I want to get some sugar cakes on there and some fondant of the Hive Alive that I've got left. I want to go ahead and use those up and get that out there and start getting ready for spring, because man, this cold snap put everything kind of behind schedule, and I'm concerned about the viability of my hives and how well they got through that last cold spell. I think I may have lost a couple. So in this video, I'm gonna mix up some sugar and make some sugar cakes and lay them out and show you how I do that. And then I got some old hive bodies out there that I'm going to cut up and make some shims out of. So they're rotted out on the corners, so I'm just going to cut between the nails and make about a 1.5 2 inch shim out of those, because I need some more shims, and that's a quick and easy way to do that. You can also make a honey super out of them if you want to do that. If the top side's still good and the bottom's bad, or vice versa, you can shorten it up like that. But you still have to keep the side on the top that's got the dog for your frames to sit into. So if that side's good, you can make a honey super. Otherwise, you're just gonna have to cut that off and make shims. So before we get started, we'll do a quick little mail call on some things I got in the mail, and I'll show you what I've got here. Let me get the camera a little closer. So real quick, I want to show you what I got here. So I got some stuff. I saw these at the Honeybee Expo. So this is a honey bucket overflow alarm, and this is from John, and I'll hold this up so you can see his address there. So this is the bucket alarm, and he said he emailed me and said, hey, I didn't see you after you came in, and I wanted to give you one of these, and asked me for my address. So I gave it to him, and he sent me this here. So what this does, when you're filling up your honey bucket, it will set off an alarm when your honey gets up to a certain level, so you don't overflow your bucket. So if you see my honey extraction videos, you know that I've nearly done that multiple times. So this will be a big help. So let me put it on a bucket here, and you can see how it works. And I'll put this information down below where you can email them at, and it's jl-apiaries.com, and there's the instructions. So it looks like it's a 3D printed body, and the electronics are going to be inside here, and this little dinky little clothespin looking thing is what keeps it from going off, and it says you're supposed to store it with that on there. That's probably so it won't accidentally trigger. But this looks like it's a float switch. Just gonna get this closer where you can see it. So there's the honey bucket alarm. There's the information. Phone number, jl-apiaries.com. And you put it on the bucket with these little screws here. So your bucket's gonna, lip's gonna go right in here. And let's see, I think it's got a battery in it already. So let's see what it does. Yeah. So when the float gets up there, it's going to go off. Let me mount it on a bucket so you can see it. There we go. So you can see, I told him I wanted the shortest one he had, so looks like it'll trigger when my honey gets right to there. Pretty neat. So thanks, John, for sending that to me. I will definitely try it out in July when I do my extraction. So that's pretty neat. All right, let's get on to the next item. So the next item just showed up in the mail to me. It's come from Stinson Beach, California. And remember when I was going through my books, I said, one of the things I want to pick up and buy is that device that you can snap onto an old brood frame, and you attach it to a pole, stick it up in the air, and you could get a swarm off a tree with it, like way high up in the air. So these showed up, and let me get around there so you can see better. So this is what they are, and it says, sent as a gift from Keith Tayon, or Tayao. I don't know if that's an N or a U. So thank you, Keith. I guess he was watching my video and ordered them for me, or Keith is the person at the company, but I don't think so. So here's the card, Bee Catch Inc. Swarmreacher.com. Bob Kerrigan is the person that makes these, apparently. So Keith must just be a viewer and bought these for me. So let me get them out. So there's actually 2 of them in here. So let me go get a frame. And looks like it has the screws for like a broom handle. It's threaded there. And these aren't 3D printed. These are cast because I can see the line from the mold. Looks like the screw goes in here. And that's going to clamp down on your frame. Let me go grab a frame and we'll see how this works. I went and grabbed my pink acorn frame from the expo. They were handing these out at the expo. Let's see. Looks like it's just going to go in there like that. Wonder if... Let's see, there's no instructions with it. I'm trying to think. It's got to go like that. It can't go like this. So it looks like either side, doesn't matter. Or you could put it down to the end, but you probably want it in the middle so it's more balanced. Yeah, it clamps right in there with the little screw there. So your pole's going to go in here. So I'm going to have to figure out, because the one I saw, the guy was using a PVC pipe. So I need to figure out how to adapt that broom handle to this, or maybe the PVC pipe will go on the outside of this too. I need to go to their website and check it out. So thank you, Keith, for sending that to me. Really appreciate it. I'm not used to getting things in the mail from people. It's pretty cool. So let's see what it says here. Attached to any screw top pole, window washer, extension poles work best. Available at most hardware stores. If it doesn't fit snugly, cover the screw top with a piece of plastic from a plastic bag or some painter's tape. Okay, to kind of shim it up in there. Attach a larva hive frame with dark brood comb. Yada yada, you all understand that probably. It says it's safer than using a ladder. Yeah, I almost fell off a ladder multiple times. Going up for a swarm higher than I've seen. Higher than I should have been. Let's see, it says there are several different sizes of hive frames in the market. You can attach on the bottom side if it's too large, or just notch it and it'll fit just fine. So yeah, pretty neat. So I need to figure out my pole and get that all rigged. So I'll have this on the ready. And yeah, you don't want to use an empty frame. You want to use a frame that's got old, dark brood comb, and the bees will just go to it like a magnet. And once you get your queen onto that, off a swarm, and get her down in the box, the other bees will just come on down there. So, pretty neat. All right, the third and final thing. Got this box here from Texas. And this is from Dixondale Onion Farms. I ordered these. And my onion planting guide. So I got a bunch of mixed onions. These are short day onions. So there's yellow granics, Texas super sweets, and one of their reds. I don't remember the name of the red, but these are all sweet variety onion short days. So They got here today, it was like 20 degrees outside, so they don't seem like they have freeze damage. So I'm going to keep them out here in the apartment where it's cool. And I got to start prepping my garden, getting a row ready to get these things planted. All right, let's get to making some sugar cakes. Okay, making sugar cakes is really a pretty easy process. I just use granulated sugar. I don't put it on the stove. I don't melt it. I don't dissolve it in water. I just take granulated sugar right out of the bag, and I pour it into a 5-gallon bucket. And I got a little bit of old sugar here that's from some previous cakes that has kind of crumbled off. So I'm just going to throw that in there, leave that in there. And it's a little dirty, but that's okay. And I'm going to use some of my Hive Alive liquid to mix in there to stimulate the bees to eat the sugar cakes more rapidly, and also give them nutrients in addition to just the carbs from the sugar. So pour your sugar in, and I use a drill. This same one I mix my liquid feed with, and a paint stirrer. And you dump your sugar in, and your feeding stimulant, and just a little bit of water. Once you get it mixed up, you want to be able to squeeze it, and it'll pack kind of like a snowball. You don't want it wet, just enough that it sticks together so you can make basically giant sugar cubes. And I'm going to pour that out onto a cookie sheet, into like a big giant sheet cake, and use my ladle and just kind of put little lines in it so I can snap it apart after it dries. So let's get started. So it's a 25-pound bag of sugar from everyone's favorite store, based out of Arkansas. These are getting close to $25 now. I think seems like I paid $24. I may be wrong, but yeah. You get you 4 bags of sugar, you're getting close to $100 nowadays. So I'm not going to do the whole bag at once. I'm just going to put part of it in and get started. Use the Hive Alive. So this is a feed enhancer for bees, and it has seaweed in it. There's lots of beneficial vitamins and minerals in this, and it also has some essential oils that attract the bees. I think there's some lemongrass oil in it, a little bit of protein. It says 500 milliliter bottle will feed up to 50 hives. So for this much, I'm going to put a 1/4 cup, and that's going to be for this whole 25 pounds. So I'm going to start with this. Make a little trough in there for it so it doesn't hit the sides. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of, and I'm going to put hot water. So I don't really have a measurement for the water. It's not going to be much, maybe a 1/4 cup. You just kind of eyeball it by the consistency that you want with the snowball. Okay, so this cup here is halfway full. I'm not going to put all of that in there, obviously. Just a little bit. So I put about half of that in there. And I'm going to start with this. And this battery is low. I'm going to have to go get another one. Got this little power stack battery. I don't use it very often. I'll just go ahead and use it just so it gets a little bit of exercise. This is a 14-4 drill, and I've got one of those adapters on it. Oh yeah. So let's reverse. Yeah. So there's some really wet clumps in there that we want to be broken up. But this stuff here on the top is really the consistency that we're looking for. A little bit dry, because it doesn't quite hold together. So we need just a little more water. I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of my sugar in. I'm going to put the rest of the water in there, because it's kind of throwing sugar everywhere. I think last time I did this, I did it in 2 separate buckets. Yeah, I should have known better. It's going to be a disaster waiting to happen, I can tell. Much better. Add a little bit more water to this one. Okay. Yeah, that's perfect. This one still needs just a little bit more. That ought to do it. Yeah, there it is. See how it's all stuck together? So that'll make a nice little cake. Okay, these are 2 really large cookie sheets. They're bigger than your standard oven will hold. But my wife had these, and she got them. They're too big, so I use them for other things. So you just dump them out on here. Now the thicker they are, the longer they'll take to dry up and get solid. What smells good with that hive alive in there. So it's not going to fill the entire pan, looks like, which is okay. But you want them, you know, about 1 inch thick. Not much thicker than that, because you got to think about your shims. You got to have space above your hive and to get it covered back up so there's no air gap. So you don't want to make them too thick. I could probably press them all on out to the sides. Make them a little thinner. It's good to do this by sink so you got water to rinse your hands off with, because it gets all sticky. It's like this one had a little bit more sugar. Trying to finish this one up here. Okay, there you go. So that's going to be 4 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 20. So 40 little cakes there. That ought to be enough to do all of my hives that actually need it. Some aren't going to need any sugar, but some of them are probably going to need quite a bit. So that, and I have my Hive Alive fondant. It's out there. So I'll use my Hive Alive fondant in addition to this and get that all used up as well. So that's it for this. So now I'm going to get outside and I'm going to cut the shims, because I don't have enough shims to do a lot of hives. I got enough to do maybe 5 or 6. So I'm going to make some shims out of those old boxes. So let's get out there and get started on that. Before I leave, I'm going to turn my dehumidifier on. I'm going to crank it down to like 40%, and I'm going to kick on the fan to circulate the air in here and get these so they're nice and dry and hard tomorrow, so I can get them out of here and put them on the beehives. Okay, here's some of the old boxes I've got, and they're just rotten or whatever. The bottoms of them are no good anymore. So kind of give you an idea here on this one. See how it's all rotten there. Get it in the sun. There, you can see it. Yeah, so I'm just gonna cut these on the seam right here where the finger joints meet, and cut it all the way across that way. That way I won't hit any nails, and make the shims that way. So this part from right here to the right, this here will be discarded, and set the width for what I need it to be right here, and just start ripping them apart. Yeah, so there's a few bees out here flying around. That's a good sign. So this didn't come out square. Not sure what happened there. That didn't move. So I'm going to have to square this up a little bit. Okay, here we go. I was able to get 4 shims out of that one deep box. So cut the bottom little part off, and they're pretty solid too, because they have the finger joints. Man, we did pretty good. So I'm going to keep that box there. There's a lot of nails in weird places. So although it's just butt joints, I could use that just to carry frames around in and things like that. So I'm not going to cut it up. And this is a super. I'm not sure why I have it over here in this pile. It's got the 9 frame spacers in it. I might just put that in my stack of supers. It looks to be square. A little bit right there. I think it'll be all right. So here's how many we got. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 40, 50, 16. 16 spacers, and I had 5 or 6 already. And I'm just going to leave these open. I'm not going to put wire bottoms in them. I'll just put newspaper underneath my sugar blocks, and instead of doing that wire, so I got some wire, and I would fill one of these up completely with sugar, and that works, but it takes a lot of sugar, and those blocks are easy. You can just put 1 or 2 on, and you just keep adding them as you need them. So yeah, I like that. Yeah, so there we go. 16 shims out of, what was that, 4 boxes? That turned out good. And here's the ones here. There's like the bottoms that I cut out and one of the tops. So yeah, that turned out good. Yeah, and there's a lot of bees out here flying around me. So yeah, it's supposed to get up to 50. In fact, I'm getting kind of hot in this coat. I didn't want to take it off, so I'd get sawdust all over me. So fixing to go out and eat with my folks up in Stillwater. So that is it. That's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Tomorrow I hope to get into the bees, get some of these sugar cakes on there, and check out the how they're doing just in general, and get them fed and get them get them on into March. That'll be the next thing. So give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. I'm almost to 13,000. I'm at, I think I've got 15 subscribers left to hit 13,000. So I appreciate it if you'd hit the subscribe and subscribe to my channel. So I'll catch you all on the next beekeeping video. Y'all take care.